Perfect. Welcome everyone to another episode of Gripsport Latino. Today we have a very special guest with us, Miss Jenn Tibbenham. How are you today, Jen?
Wonderful. Wonderful. Yourself, Pancho? You doing okay?
I am super good. I am super relaxed. Training is good and I am about to travel to Mexico for my honeymoon. So I am
Amazing.
excited.
Yes. And where in Mexico are you going?
I am going to Ciudad de Mexico, City of
Oh,
Mexico.
okay. Yes. Yep. Mexico City. I've slept on that airport floor.
Yeah, Mexico City. Then we go
Yeah.
to Cancun. Then
Mm,
we go to Holbox, an island, and then to Playa
okay.
del Carmen and many of the beaches of Mexico. So yeah, it's going to be legendary. I hope so.
Absolutely. Yes. Many happy memories.
Yes. Well, tell us, Jen. This is the question that I always like to use for breaking the ice. Who is
Yes.
Jenn Tibbenham? Tell me.
That's a great question. I'm loud. I'd like to say strong as a tank. Um, Enthusiastic as hell because everybody on the internet, there's the comment of hell yeah. And so that's just become me. It's synonymous with me. I think I've probably said that in so many countries, and people know that it's me. Um, my older brother is definitely responsible in the makeup of who I am because, of course, this was the late 1980s, WWF, WCW, all that was going on. Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Giant, Ultimate Warrior, like all
Oh,
those wrestlers watching that. So, luchadors, right? So just
yes.
that's a huge like part of my life. And I think getting the crowd pumped up because it's like, when you compete, I guess it goes back to just me watching all these action movies or Gladiator. It's like, if you're not enthusiastic, then why the hell is the audience going to be enthusiastic about you, what you're watching, what the hell you're doing? So that's where I think I just get really excited for what I'm doing and then hopefully try to inspire other people to do it. But there was one strong woman competition. It just totally reminded me of like the wrestlers like getting the crowd get really excited for what they were doing after a strong woman like deadlift medley. I think I just high-fived the whole entire crowd. I think it was like Britain's Strongest Woman 2016 or something like that, and of course my a good friend Rob Blair was out in the audience and he yelled out the tank and then just afterward just high fives all around. So I think that's just that really, I guess, freeze frames who I am is that you just have to be excited of, get everybody excited that you're lifting, you're there, don't piss away their life, enjoy the moment.
Excellent. I like
Yes.
it.
And then, yeah. And then I'd have to say that like my mom, she's always been my biggest fan. Just when I went to Portland State and was competing in track and field, she would try to show up for those weekends and yeah, and then also paying for some track and field camps. I used to go to a summer camp, kind of summer clinic called Ironwood Throws, and I went up there for a time being because just track and field was my love, and I think they allowed me to go away from home. I think I was 12 or 13 at the time. I needed a call every night, and this was before cell phones. So this was
Yeah.
1998 of using calling cards just to make sure that I was all right doing what I was told because it was a big deal at the time, just going to another time zone and just being let loose a little bit. But I was like, I promise you, I'm just going to go to the dorms, do my thing. And of course, that camp is in the middle of the summer that it's like you sweat, you eat, throw, and you go to sleep by the end of it. So you really couldn't be in trouble by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh,
But
that's
yeah, that
really big discipline. Yeah.
yeah, a really big discipline. So there was a little bit of that. I've been inspired by Olympians, so I think that's just again one of those that I go out there, compete, and don't leave anything or a stone untouched. You just give it out there, give it your damnedest. Just like the picture that I showed or that you asked for the episode of like my tongue hanging out. That it was the second day of the worlds, and I hurt my thumb the previous day, and I was putting CBD oil, DP in a glove to keep this left thumb warm throughout the whole entire competition. And it was painstakingly hard, but I thought, I have flown 5,000 miles and I'm not just going to give up. So this is
Yes.
what you do. You put your hand in a glove to keep it warm and you just go out there, do your reps. And if you look ugly doing it, then so be it.
Excellent. So,
Yeah.
Jen, did you like practice sports like your whole life while growing up in high school?
Yes, that's a really good question. So I did like intramural t-ball, like growing up, baseball. So it's kind of like that typical American, like what you do during the summer, play baseball,
Yes.
play a little bit of indoor basketball, and then track and field. That's when I started at about 12 or 13. And then also I've done a little bit of volleyball too. So just always busy. And I'm really grateful for that because I think those lessons in sports have always carried with me. So it's like you got to be doing something, and I'm glad for that because just even when I moved to England, I thought, okay, well, how am I going to make friends? Duh, just go to the gym because you find other like-minded people, common interests. Like you're never alone as long as you have that common interest with other people. So just thought, just go to the gym, you'll meet people, and I did. So one of my good friends, Nick Swain, we've been friends since 2009, and we've done international all around weightlifting together, some grip sports stuff. We've gone to Scotland together to do the international all around weightlifting Gold Cup. What you do, you choose an event that you're going to have like a personal best on, break that record. So it's again, that's a very motivational competition because you're there and on your first lift, you're supposed to break that record. So again, mentally, it's not like you're there of on the third attempt, then you'll do it. It's warm up, it's break it and try to do it again and again. So that's what's it's really fun about that.
Do you have the chance to warm up for that record attempt, or it's like you go
Yes.
cold and try it?
Like you'll still warm up. There's always still like have a little bit and then the competition will start with that first attempt.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you see what I mean, it's not like you go cold off totally off the street. That you warm up, have a little bit of a warm up time, and then when it's competition, then just smash that record.
Oh, it's a big, I
Yes,
think it must be like a big pressure. And yeah, I have always watched, I mean, for me, it's like IAWA, but yeah, I always
yes,
watch lifters from Scotland, like doing the finger lifts,
yes,
Kennedy deadlifts, the Dini
hmm,
lifts with the Shanks lifts with all the Dini
yes,
lifters. Those are the main
hmm,
the main people that I follow because I like the Dini stones. So I have like an idea of the IAWA.
yes, definitely. And that's where I met Steve a few years ago. Was it through Iowa at that federation? So he's talked to me about it, and Denny Stones. It's been there, but having kids and then now my schedule is a little bit crazy that one of these days it's on the list of things to do, it's just not immediately right now. And I think as your grip strength and as you get older, for myself, I still think it's improving because of the years of track and field, the years of again doing grip. I was looking because I was doing that paperwork for the Arnolds. I've been actually doing grip since about 2015. And so you think the awkward stuff that
Oh,
you do with your hands, um, again, the massages. I try to do yoga is kind of like my recovery stuff and stretching out your hands. However, I've messed up pinkies like everybody. I just think that here, if you can try to see it, especially this right one, it's a little bit messed up, but it's kind of a genetic thing. Even my family, like we all have messed up pinkies, but like doing up down dog to try to stretch out those hands,
yes.
it just helps. So just you got to reap what you sow with your training.
Perfect. Jen,
Yeah.
I am curious. What do you do for a living?
So at the moment, I'm seconded as a technical instructor at Dungeon SB Power Station. So I teach dressing and undressing in contaminated areas within our
Okay,
power station. So I tell people how to dress into contaminated areas. So, like the bunny suits, and there's a protocol. And also, I look after the chemistry program, nuclear safety, and environmental safety at Dungeon SB Power Station. So I make sure
perfect.
people are in credits with their jobs and that they're swept to do their role.
I used to work in a pharmaceutical company, and we
Mm,
went to the plant where they like make all the pills, and
okay.
it was a quite a protocol. Like you have to sit with your feet facing that wall, put
Uh-huh.
the suit, then put
Exactly.
your feet to the other side. It's like it's not easy.
Yeah, definitely. And that's where I have to tell people. I just said, pretend that like you're covered in dog poo and you don't want to touch yourself. Or the same thing, or
Yes.
like you vomited or your kid is vomited. And then that's the thing. Some of the like ladies in there are like, uh-huh, I know what this lady's talking about. Like you just don't want to touch it, or it's just so I get it. And that's where if I don't use that analogy, then people just kind of almost pretend it's the Macarena or it's the 1990s, like doing a break dance. And I'm like, no, you don't touch yourself, don't touch yourself. So pretend that like you're covered in dog poo. Don't touch yourself, and then just make sure once you get those gloves off, then you can touch inside, but nothing on the outside. But I good analogy with like the pharmaceutical because it's very clinical. And I tell people the
Yes.
same thing. It's like it's surgery preparation. That guess what? This is like just to make sure you don't get contaminated. So no, very on point.
Yes, and Jen, when you were in college, which was
Yes.
like your special discipline of track and field? Because I know there are many.
Yeah, so discus is my love. I think it's from just like the statues of like, especially in Greece. Just it's really to my heart. I loved it. Um, yeah, that just really lit me on fire. Just I guess it's almost like doing a dance or it's like a ballet. Just is there's something special about it. And then watching that discus fly, that's all the effort, and then you get to watch this disc fly, and then you know within your body if you've hit that technique spot on, and then you just know that it was like, oh, that it felt really nice.
Did you happen to have the chance to, I don't know, to meet Valerie Altman? I think she's the current world record of discus.
Correct. So this is my roundabout Idaho connection. I
Yes.
met her coach when he was probably a junior in high school. So I looked at him, and I mean, he was a very impressive thrower in high school. And then I
Okay.
knew he went down to Georgia. So I know her coach, but I don't know her. And of course, I follow her. She's done amazing things. Um, the other thing I can say is I've met some Olympians, and again, going to Ironwood camp, you get to meet like Al Order. I met him before he died, and he went to like 4 or 5 Olympics, and I felt that's pretty top. You don't have people like that anymore.
Nice.
I met Jared Rome before he passed away because he was very active in the Boise area. Um, and that was really unfortunate when he died because he was kind of within the area. Just I saw him in high school, so um, yeah, just a lot of Olympians, and that's where I thought there was going to be that support and just things just didn't really line up in my university career. But I'm grateful for that, and you build and you move on from that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Speaking about moving, I am also
yeah,
curious about if you are American, uh,
yes,
why did you move to the UK? I mean, sounds super fun and interesting, but
yes.
I'd like to know the story behind it.
So the story behind that, I actually met my husband off the internet when we were 16 years of age. So this
Yes.
was before MSN. ICQ was like the late 90s, early 2000s, like gamer chat. So I found him 16 male United Kingdom. And the first time that we started chatting, we chatted for about 4 to 5 hours.
Oh.
And so, yeah, after that, I just kind of chatted on and off. And then I said, well, how are we going to do this? How are we going to meet? And then he flew to Idaho and met my family that Christmas of 2001. And of course, if you cast your mind back to that year, the terrorist attack, 9/11. So just flying
Yes.
was a bit sketchy. And there was just so many security protocols, but we made it happen, went back and forth. At the time, with the visas, it was easier for me to move to the UK versus Graham trying to come to the United States because that's like a 7 year process. And at the time, I got under as a citizen within about like 4 years. But still, even though that we got married, it's still visa issues are just, it's like a saga. So then I had a spousal visa, indefinite leave to remain, and then I finally got my citizenship. And so yeah, we just went back and forth quite a few years and then kind of decided to stay in England. However, there's pros and cons with everything, but the pros is that the strength opportunities has been immense. Strong woman, like you say, with international all around weightlifting, the Denny Stones, just so many different things you can do. So there's that kind of thing because I think if I hadn't have moved to England, I wouldn't have been able to go to the Arnold Classic for strongwoman, and that was at 2015. And I think that's when the cusp of like strongwoman was getting more out there.
Yes.
So I don't regret that one bit. And also, I did UK's Strongest Woman. That was 2010. Again, geography, it was just down the road from where I was. I was like, why not? For at the time, like the exchange rate, I was like, for $17, hell yeah, I want to try my first strong woman competition. So just get in there and do it. And just, it was tough. Like at the weights, they tried to like basically sling a 300 kilo tire. It's like, go ahead and like push this. And I'm like, okay. Like I didn't get it
Yes.
to move, but you're like, that's going to be 0 reps. So I think from like the early 2010s to figure out what athletes can do has changed
Yes.
significantly. And I think, and it's really hard, you don't see many tractor tire events within some of the strong women things just because I think it is space and availability to get to the equipment and moving that equipment is so hard. So I think it's pretty rare that you see like a tractor tire flip event anymore. So just different things out there. But yeah, and like I said, immigration, my background is in teaching, obviously, but at the time, the early 10s, like the UK government still wanted to have any applicant that wanted to join their teaching ranks to have like an English test, auditory, written, maths. And I said, this test is culturally biased. Like people from the south of England to the north to even Scotland, sometimes they can't even understand each other. So I was like, why the hell are they going to put that on me as an American when sometimes you always say, pardon me, excuse me, like I didn't catch that. So I just thought it was a bit, I don't know, just really ridiculous. I kind of just negated that for a little while. And then a few years later, they just said you didn't have to take that test anymore. So I was working at the power station and then I was a contractor, just kind of doing office admin, and then worked in the warehouse. And again, that's always good moving boxes. So then that helped with my strength for a little bit. So,
Yes.
and then who would have thought that I have a license to drive a forklift. So, a woman of many talents.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Jen, I'd love to know. Well, after college, I guess you moved into Strong Woman, right?
I did so yeah, rewind. From doing track and field, I met this powerlifting guy in one of my Basque history classes. And so then we started lifting together. And I actually did my first meet in Elko, Nevada in 2006 in
Nice.
powerlifting. Yeah. So I think at the time I deadlifted something like, was it 314 pounds? I think I'd have to double check on that record, but I was like, oh, that's pretty good at the time. And I remember that year that I also did like a clean of 200 pounds that year. So, my strength gains from track and field, just everything was just really lining up pretty well. So, no, those were good times. But then doing powerlifting, then again, just location, being in England, then I got into strongwoman in 2010. So just having that background, 2006 kind of track ended, then did powerlifting, then did strongwoman.
And then, uh, how did you knew about grip? Because you told me that you are like into grip from 2015. It's like
Yeah,
many
so
years.
it just yeah, right place, right time. At the time the Commando Temple, um, they put on a competition. It was David Horn's Strongest Hands 2016, and then also with international weightlifting. Since I got involved with that in '09, they would have certain like grip um competitions. So
Okay.
it kind of gets together. Like, for example, one of their events is called the dumbbell walk, and it's like a 4-inch dumbbell. My friend Nick, yeah, so that's where you get that bit of like strength to it. So my friend Nick and we actually got some like 4-inch tube, filled it full of concrete, used a standard weight to kind of simulate that. So it's just having because international all around weightlifting, I joke that its meme should be like making weightlifting awkward since like the 1900s. Because it is, it's
Okay.
like who the hell would just say, "Oh, I'm going to do this today?" For example, they do like a shoulder drop lift where, having the barbell on your back and then try to catch it. I mean, to me, that's almost like some clown kind of horse shit lift. I don't know. It's like, who decides to do that? It's like, okay, I'm going to just go whack my back out and I'm going to pay like someone 100 pounds to put my back in again. That's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of like a whole bunch of guys that either got totally wasted and was like, hey, fuckers, let's go do this lift. Just it is what it is. I don't know. Maybe it
Yes.
just seems a little bit broski or just a bit just like frat party-ish. Like, go, go. We just shotgun a beer. Let's go do this lift. That's what I think of it.
Nice.
Yeah. So I do what I do. I guess I'm a strength nomad or just that strength enthusiast of like, hell, I'll do it. Let's go. Let's go play. Let's go make a memory. Let's go have some laughs about it. Just you got to do these things.
I've seen many videos, photos of Commander Temple, and it's like
Yeah.
if I go to the UK, it's like one of the places that I want to visit because they even have like stones, like for the Dini stones. They have a bit of everything.
Yes, absolutely. So, like I said, Rob and we've been really good friends. I met Bruno at the World Championships, and
Oh,
then
really?
yes, yeah, and so that was another good
Nice.
story. I was like, I know how to cheer him on in Spanish, so I was like alto, alto, fuerte, just
Yeah.
so I just did that. Sarah looked at me like you're just this linguist that just kind of comes out and I was like, hell yeah, he's come like thousands of miles and it's just like, yep, let's cheer him on to do stuff and um banga banga, just come on. So no, it was really good. And then Bruno and so we kind of, became friends on Instagram. And then he saw that I went and saw Rob at his house. And he said, of course you guys are friends, just like how it made the social connection. And I said, yeah. And hopefully Bruno and I thought he's supposed to be in the UK this month, but I just said, hopefully I can meet you there. By driving on a good day, I could get to the Commando Temple in about an hour and a half. So you let me know, and I could happily meet you at the Commando Temple. So yes, and that gym in itself has been my temple, like sanctuary of me moving to England. Again, just so many enthusiastic people. Yeah, just a whole bunch of people, family from other mothers, just really good people. Just it's nice. And that's where I tell people, like I've even had time off. I'm like, look, I just need to go see my meatheads. This is what I gotta do. I gotta replenish my soul. Just yeah, I tell Rob and just pump I pump that gym up so much just because it gets me in a right place. You can just kind of say to the world, like, I'm just gonna drop a bomb on all you guys. I just need to go to the temple and just need to figure my shit out. So
That's it.
yeah.
And Jen, with your first experience with the grip, uh, how was it? Like, what made you like take the decision? Like, I am going to buy some equipment to train at home, and this is my thing, so to speak.
Um, so Nick is a carpenter, and then I saw some of the stuff that was like roaming around in his shed, and I was like, I'm just gonna find random bits of metal everywhere. So that's the thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be stuff from that says it's on King Kong or International All-Around Weightlifting. It's like if it's there, I'm gonna do it. I think I've even taken what was it? There's even because me working in stores, we've thrown away redundant bit of plant. So I've taken some ball bearings, some stuff home. I'm like, I really like that, the way that feels on my hand. So just anything that feels good and how you think, oh, that'll either cross into strong woman for an event. I love it all. Just, I've even taken coils home. So then I was like, oh, that's really good on the hand. um yeah, it just does seem like a cult, doesn't it? It's like I'm just gonna take some metal stuff home. I like the way how that feels, and just yeah, it's really good. I don't know, it's just fun when you think of the crossover. Just you don't really understand how many different motions that happens in your hands, and you're like, oh, I like that, it feels good, and then it becomes a challenge. And of course, again, Rob always said, instead of always like obsessing about a tenth of a kilo, go climbing. So that's where I would do the bouldering thing, and that's always helped. And it looks cool. Sometimes when you look, and of course, now that I have young sons, we've taken them climbing. We took them climbing with Tammy, and that was really fun, just all the kids together. And we've even gone to her dojo where the kids have hung out. So it's just nice that Grip has a crossover. It's just not metal stuff that you can also go climbing. Yeah.
Perfect. I saw a couple of your Instagram pictures with one of your sons as a baby, like super tiny,
Yeah.
and you were climbing in the background.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I kind of did on my maternity leaves. Like I missed some of that time that I did. I took the kids with me climbing, and no one really said anything, super chill. And I think them seeing all the different like colors, all the little grip holds, no one cared. No one cared. They're like, "Oh, that's such a good idea." Because I was like, "Hell yeah!" Because there's only so much Netflix you can watch in a day, and it goes to show that my son, it's like there's more to life than just sitting at home too.
And Jen, like coming back to the part of your first competition of grip,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, no problem.
which was the first grip tool that you tried that you ever lifted?
I'm thinking that was maybe like one of the first King Kongs, like maybe it was like 2016 or 2017. Probably one of the crushers. So one of the rolling handles that it was
Yes.
definitely I would say that it's the heavier type, and that's where that implement, you're like, whoa, there's a bit of weight to that versus like a Rolling Thunder where it's really, really light. So I think having that extra bit of metal, they're like, oh God, this is a whole new game. Like, it's not baseball anymore. It's like playing baseball with a shot put that you're like, what the hell? There's just a whole new dynamic to it. So, yeah, that was really interesting. And then I could have won King Kong one time. However, don't overestimate your numbers or don't make a huge step. And I think that's what I can always tell, some of the first timers or even some of the veterans. It's like, don't get too just like cocky that you think you're going to lift it because especially depending on what round that you are in King Kong that you might not get it. So that's where I'm kind of glad that Eric's changed the rules of last man standing to try and have so many attempts. So that's been kind of good for the involvement of King Kong that, you can try, um, but take reasonable amounts. So that's one tip. And even Lorna, jokingly, we always kind of tell other people that's like, don't pull a Jen and, don't don't go too big with some of your lifts. So I mean, that's the past, but you just have to, and that's the thing. I'm telling people that information because I don't want them to feel that like that disappointment and devastation. So shit happens, but move on.
And Jen, I am curious. Have you tried the grippers, like in your grip
Yes.
history?
Yeah. I have tried them. That's the thing. Like to me, it's one of those that I guess it is challenging, don't get me wrong, but
Yes.
I guess I would rather lift something more of a poundage, more something you could put on a scale. If it's not in a competition, then I really don't train for it. But what I do is I take one of the grippers and I use one of the like the little metal 90-degree angles to kind of work on my pinch grip. So my
Okay.
husband made one of those. So this is where I love fabricators. It's the metal worker. So that helps. But it's not my cup of tea. Like until there's a competition that's like going to be a diehard, yes, you're going to do that, then maybe I'll really focus to it. But it's just my least favorite thing to do.
Okay. And I was checking on your profile and I saw that you have competed in arm lifting in on King Kong and also
Hmm.
in Gods of Grip. How are those competitions? Do they are they not including grippers on their tournaments?
They haven't lately. And this is where it's an exciting time to be in the cult of grip, so
Mhm.
to speak. That it's either USA, arm lifting stuff, um, different events, and then Gods of Grip, they're putting their own tools out there. Nemesis Grips putting their tools out there. Um, there's a company in the Netherlands, like the Golden Grip people. So there's just a lot of manufacturers putting things out there. But Gods of Grip haven't put grippers out there, but God bless them for putting some different things out there for us grip nerds to try.
Even in South America, Gripsport Latino is putting equipment out there.
I know, absolutely. I'm happy to, yeah, we'll do that. I'm happy to do an exchange, either if you come over, whatever. And that's where even Sarah, she's brought stuff to me to in Sweden. We did that little thing of swapping equipment over. And then I've given her some Al's chalk. It's from the Netherlands, ALLEZ, and I really like it. It has a very nice texture. They say it's from like sea salt, like French sea salt. So, that's
Yes.
the thing of trying to be more green and thought that, it's trying to make sure less carbon footprint. But yeah, it has a very nice texture. Roderick, he's a really nice guy. So it's a very exciting time to be just involved with grip strength.
Nice. Actually, I want to like for the future of the podcast, I want to invite more like company owners to know like which is their vision
Mm,
because thanks to Sam I have been able to connect with people from the from Golden Grip.
absolutely.
I I have been able to connect with Nemesis Grips because they are doing
Hmm.
an awesome work. I really like the
Yes.
innovation that they are making into the implements. So I want to know more like of what will they like to bring into the table. So
Hmm.
it's a really good time to be into grip.
Yes.
Um, since you mentioned Sarah and
Yes.
Sweden, Jen,
Uh-huh.
I want to ask you for your experience of competing on the Winter Wars. I was super curious about that tournament because I
Hmm.
don't know if it was like an invitational tournament or whatever, but I saw like the most famous Greek people over the world,
Yeah,
including
yeah.
you and
Oh,
Sarah.
bless you.
So
Yeah, yeah.
how
So
how was it?
it was really good. That's the thing. It felt like we were almost Vikings, like just traveling across Sweden. So, we flew in, and I just said, because obviously December, sometimes with winter storms in the United States, just I said, logistically, Sarah will stay close to the airport. And then the next day, but then we met up with Gabby Dixon from Strong
Yes.
Woman, and then we hung out. So then we kind of went around Stockholm. We went and saw the Vasa Museum, which was about a famous boat wreck. But then we still had to travel about 4 hours across the country. And then people
Ooh,
were like, well, why didn't you take the train? But I was like, by train by 5 hours to get to
okay.
Karlstad. Yes. So, I mean, that's where it was one of those of 3.5 hours to 4 hours in the car, get to Karlstad. And then we still had another half hour to get to go to Malcolm. So then it was like, how do you get to Malcolm? There wasn't like there was Ubers. So I just said, we're gonna have to get a car. So we did that, but it was nice because I understand it. Then it became like a lot of people wanted to come to Sweden and compete because Sarah was totally into it. And I said, if you're coming this way, fine, I'll come and come with you and compete. So we went to this high school, and that's the thing. It was a high school gymnasium, really cool. And that's the thing. One of the famous strongmen. So you had Smoke Stellis there. Our was it all of our Smoke Stellis? So he was there, and just that's it. I know probably a lot of people would say the chalk was not what I expected it to be,
Okay.
and that was a little bit unfortunate. So I know a lot of people did kind of struggle that day. But the events itself were really fun. They were amazing. The grip, especially the rock medaling, which was really good. And however, it was fun. The puzzle pieces and some of the edges were a bit jagged. And I have a picture of my hands were totally cut bloody raw.
Ooh.
Um, so then luckily for my dad to teach me super glue your cuts. So I super glued my cuts back together for the rest of the afternoon in order to keep going. The show must go on, right? Like Freddie
Yes.
Mercury said it himself, like you have to keep going. But it was funny. Maria from Finland, she was just like, I looked at one of the rocks and she was like, I saw Jen's blood. So I don't think they really cared what was on there. The blood was still there. Um, but that event was really cool, and it was a long day. And when you have that many people, it's going to be a long day. But it was cool how afterwards, or within the meantime, that it's nice that they had like a cafeteria open. So like on that part of the planning, it was really good for that. And even the dinner, hang out with other people, that was nice. Competition level itself, like Gabby Dixon, she did the world record for the Saxon bar deadlift. Fantastic. That's what we want to see, trying to have that high level of sport. And I get it, especially with Scandinavian countries that have some of these big competitions in winter, because what the hell else are you going to do with your time? I kind of say the same thing in England of it's winter time, what do you do? So it's good to have these competitions in winter because, need to do something. Um, yeah, and I just with some of the medley and what I noticed is if from what I thought the judging was just a little bit loose. I felt like I was really high with some of my lockouts, and by the end of the night, some of the guys were just almost going to about knee level. So that's where I just thought maybe have like a bit of rope to then illustrate everybody go to the same standard, like a crossbar within, King Kong.
Yes, and I was curious, Jen, did they do like, for example, in powerlifting, they do like, I don't know, the lighter categories firstly, or women's division one day and men's division another day? How did they make an order here? Like, did they have all of you mixed up, or ladies first, men's after? How was it?
So this was really good, and I like that it was, kind of. what you're going to do, the poundages, what numbers were you going to do. So
Yes.
call out 30 kilos, 35, 40. And when you dropped out, when you finished all your attempts, you got like a red sticker placing where you were and kind of when you got out. So like for myself being a lighter woman, so I had like the number 5 sticker saying that I was like the fifth one out. And then that's where once the stickers kind of got placement, then you could figure out where people were. And then the next rule was that you needed to complete the next event within a half hour, which was really good. So then after that, then you did the Rogue Anvil. And then I should have tried a little bit, I think, with my left or right hand on the 50 kilo. It's by the by, but it's one of those that you did the 50 kilo Rogue Anvil. And if you were done with that, then you could go to the 35, try to get some more marks if you wanted to. So that was up to your discretion. And it was uh, then it was the rock medley. So then you went through that. It just didn't depend. I think by that point it was whoever felt they could go. Just as long you just said Jen number 5, then they could record your time. And then after that, we did um the Thomas inch dumbbell.
Oh,
Yeah. So then you had to do the inch dumbbells, and then the blobs. My God, they were just really, really hard. It was thicker than your normal blob. So then it was almost
okay.
like trying to grab almost like a CD case. It felt really huge. That's what it felt like.
But
It was a
were
little
there
bit thicker than.
like blobs from Nathan or Legacies or Yorks, or were like made
No,
in
so
Sweden?
they were made in Sweden. And then,
Okay.
Sarah and I were discussing that afterwards. I just said, well, you don't necessarily have to just buy from them. If you know a welder and just get some thicker ones, or you could even probably get some 5 kilo standard plates and probably just weld them up together because they were just thicker.
Yes.
And then I have a video, Sarah caught it. Like it was the lightest blob there. And somehow it was like, it wasn't a straight up lift. I almost like cupped it. And just because it was so weird, we called it like the snake blob dance, just because it looked like a cobra. It was just a
Whoa.
bit random. And I was cussing the whole entire time during that event. I think a little bit of frustration. And yeah, it wasn't my finest moment as an athlete. I think being a little bit tired, and at least I got one blob up, but I think there was a lot of frustration. Just yeah, that it was just really thick
And,
compared to
and
a
were
regular blob.
and were those blobs like did they have a little chalk on it, like a little seasoning, or were like brand new and
To me, I
sleepy?
felt they were, yeah, absolutely brand spanking new. Yeah, you got it. Like no seasoning
Shiny.
whatsoever. Yeah, very shiny. And you're just like, it's
Damn.
it's not all of what you expect from a grip comp of either seasoning or not seasoning. So it depends. Like, there's people out there just saying it's a grip competition, make it, you know, really clean is a possibility. But then you think to yourself, well, if you had that implement forever, it's going to be seasoned, rust. You got to deal with it. So, yeah, I honestly believe that you need to have that bit of seasoning on it. But having a slick implement, you feel like it's almost Excalibur. The damn thing's never going to give.
Exactly. And how did you do with the inch dumbbells? Because that was one of my topics. Like if you have the inch dumbbell like under your radar.
Yeah, so Um, for one of those, it was kind of the circus dumbbells. I'm sorry, not the inch. So like the circus dumbbells, and I think I got
Okay.
up to like one of the. So I think I only did 3 or 4. I was struggling with the fourth one. I think it was like 44 kilos or something like that. I'd
Okay.
have to double check, but it was just one of those again after just taxing events after you've done Saxon and then a hold rock metally to then kind of do a thicker one. Just yeah. And again, I felt like those handles they weren't seasoned either.
How many hours did this competition took? Because it sounds like many mini competitions
Yeah.
on one day, like
Mhm.
a lot of work.
Yeah. I would say it's not my longest competition by any means of the imagination. So I think we started something like 8, maybe 9 o'clock, 9 o'clock, ten
Okay,
o'clock, and then we probably by 5:30 or 6 o'clock at night. And then I've been in a
that's a lot.
strongwoman competition in Sweden where it was pretty much like 11 hours.
Ooh,
Yeah, in Finland, sorry, in Finland that yeah, it was one of those that I think we got started at about 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then it was almost probably 8 o'clock at night. And it was just like, I just want to eat, go to bed.
Jen, I saw one of your posts on Instagram. I no the one of your stories, like the highlights, and you had like
Uh-huh.
a mini blob medley, it was like outside your home,
Oh, yeah, my
and
friend's house at Nick's. Yep. Yeah. So I've
and I thought it was really cool.
oh, thank you. So what I did, my friend Tony Coward that I've met through King Kong, I'm borrowing some of his blobs that
Okay,
I got borrowed, and then also there's the David Horn that was like the monster like blob as well that we decided to put into that. But it just thought it was just fun, if you can't get the blob with one hand, like, guess what? Start using two hands to try to, get the feeling in your hand that it is heavier. So don't shy away. You can make your challenging workouts. You can do it. Just use two hands just to, kind of get the feeling, get your hand seasoned, to the blob, so to speak.
so if we are speaking of blobs with good seasoning, are you into blobs? Do
Yeah.
you like them?
I do. I really do like blobs. Again, thicker, God's a grip. So they've sold them, they use them. I do. I really like the challenge of it. And like I can see how people could really get into it. So I'm sure probably give it maybe 5 to 10 years, probably Rogue will make something. And then try
Yeah.
to price other people out. Yeah, I just like the feel of it and just again that thicker kind of implement and then the whole like, lift and then kind of curl. That's always fun as well, that kind of almost suppress. But no, it can be really fun. And again, it just seems like there's a whole new art form if you do the rounded side versus the flat side. So I just feel like that can be, I guess, a multitude of a challenge.
Which has been like the heaviest blob that you have ever lifted?
Um, I think it's probably I would say I've probably done maybe like a 40 and I did buy a 45, but that's gonna take some time. But yeah, I've done the 40.
Nice. And I am
Yeah.
curious. Well, one of my questions is like regarding your friendship with Tammy. Have you ever
Yes.
like done a grip face off or like a sort of a competition between you
Um,
two?
oh, maybe one of these we'll have to do it. Because I'm going back to Idaho this summer. We do
Nice.
something, and then who knows? But Tammy, with her climbing background, that's where, she's just fantastic. She's an incredibly strong human being.
I remember when I interviewed her, she told me that you got her into grip, spreading the
Yes.
word.
Yes,
Nice.
spreading the word. Yeah, absolutely. It makes it sound like missionaries, doesn't it? I'm spreading the word of grip.
Like Christians missionaries.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly. I just thought, why not? Especially this was kind of during the time of the pandemic. I was like, hey, I bought some grip stuff. Do you want to try it? And then, she has her gym or her dojo and then able to try to play Spider-Man for a little bit
Yes.
in her garage. But I just thought, why not? She would just piss all over it because just her ninja background. She's an overall just fantastic athlete. I was like, you got to do this. Some moms like to go for coffee. Just Tammy and I, we just like to go and grip.
You do grip and then you grab a coffee like while
Yeah,
gripping,
yeah,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Have our kids play. Yeah. So, no, it's good.
Before jumping into the questions from the audience, Jen,
Oh, here we go.
I want to know your goals, your grip goals for this year, for 2024. What would you like to accomplish? Which are the competitions that you will take part of? So, what will you do? Will you
That's
surprise us with new records?
we'll see how that goes. I can tell you at the moment I'm usually pretty good about this. Usually in December I start thinking about my goals, but between my
Yes,
kids and their backgrounds, tell you what, it would be nice to do like for the Arnold Classic.
yes.
I hope to take like third would be great because I know there's a strong pull at the moment for ladies for at the Arnold's grip. King Kong, I would like to take first this year for under 100 kilo class. So we'll see what happens. That would be great to do.
Which was your place last year? You were like second
Second.
or not?
So fourth
Wow,
overall in the
big,
fourth overall in the world, and I'm very happy with that. But second within my weight class. So
nice.
first would be great. Um, and also we have the Gaza grip competition coming up. Um, so, you know, unfortunately, I won't be able to go to the final, but as long as
Okay.
I kind of play in the qualifiers, um, again, I'd probably be happy with the top three. And again, with them spreading the word of grip, there's a lot of satellite little places running their competition. So I would be again grateful within the top three with the females.
Nice.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and with the gods of grip, I have seen many female athletes
Hmm.
super strong in the UK,
Yes.
and we are not like knowing so much about them like in America. I
Right.
remember
Yeah.
I saw some of the Gods of Grip videos. I saw yours, of
Hmm.
course, and
Yeah.
there are many strong women over there. Are
Hmm.
you like? Do you have any chat or any group where you share your workouts or something? Because there's a lot of talent over there.
Yeah, there is. So to me, in my mind, who I really speak to is Sarah, Tammy, and I. We kind of chat we kind of chat probably, you know, every day. It's one of
You are
those
the
of
you're the Powerpuff Girls of Grip.
yes, yeah, thank you. And so that's where we chat, talk about different things. Just within the UK, it's a little bit different, kind of spread out. And then like
Oh,
you say,
okay.
it's just meeting other people. It depends. So for me, I'm in the southeast corner of England. God's a Grip is more northern England.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah. So that's where it's a little bit different. Um, and that's the other thing with King Kong, where I had
Yes.
it was rural. So then I tried to tell this one gal, I said, look, um, I could try to meet you. I said I could try to, pick you up from a train station somewhere. But I said, we're just very rural. And I know a lot of people want me to run King Kong like in London, but then again, it's me packing my stuff around.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
I
it's
really understand.
yeah. So packing my stuff around, or if I take the train, it's it's just one of those things at the moment that's and when we had COVID
Yes.
2021, we had the rule of six going on, and I just said, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to cancel it because I said, this isn't
Mm.
a King Kong Road show. I can't just hold my stuff. And I'm sure how you're feeling it between do you have to pay import duties with some of your equipment?
Of course, it's like if I
Yeah.
told you about my first blog, it was like, well, you manage the dollars, but I had to
Yeah.
buy it like it was like $200 for the blog and 400
Mm-hmm.
for the import costs.
Yeah. Oh
But
no.
but I am crazy, and I was like, take my money. I want the blog, the
Yes.
first in Latin America. and it's
I love
totally
it. And
worth it. It's totally worth
absolutely.
it, but it's expensive. I mean, I am doing well. I can afford it, but it's not
Hmm.
something that anyone that watches a YouTube video or watch Yuji Mufu or Larry Wills. Oh, they have gloves. Well, let's check a glove. And also it's really hard to find one. So yeah, grip is it's expensive so far. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's where, like Jesse, uh, he's from Finland and he ran the country crush thing. And I asked him, I said, "Do you want any money?" And he was like, "No." And that's where I tell people I don't make money out of grip. I honestly don't. It's my enthusiastic. It's what I want to do. It's what I want to share with people, have those memories. And I think of like some of my track coaches that, coached me, that especially in
Yes.
high school, that the countless hours they spent with me. So it's kind of paying it forward. It's paying it forward
Yes.
to a positive thing, that it's like the athletic part of it and just sharing that with people. And of course anymore, um, I'd rather hang out, either, lift, climb versus, go to the clubs or go to the bar and drink it down, drink alcohol down. So I'm with you there.
Perfect. Jen, let's jump into the questions from the audience.
I'm ready for it. Totally.
The first one is from Haley. Haley,
Okay.
I don't know the last name of Haley. I just know that she's Haley SG. So
Yeah.
sorry, Haley, I have to learn your last name. But Haley wants to know, how
Hmm.
long have you been slapping yourself to psych you up? Is it a mind slash body connection? And also, she says, it's the most exciting thing in women's grip to watch. You are my favorite.
Oh my God, heartfelt, heartfelt. I'm such a fan because she does really well. I think I've been slapping myself in the face since probably like 2014. It's probably
Okay?
a horrible thing to do. Yeah, it's just getting like that one step up. If I'm not like yelling Greta, Greta, just within myself, it's just like, I guess it's like to turn that notch up on the aggressiveness, that it's
Yes.
like I'm here for business and it's like, all right, we're doing this, like the whole pop. And I don't know, sometimes it might look cool on the camera with all like the chalk coming off my face. But now yeah, I've almost been slapping myself in the face for, yeah, a decade, just in order to get that like one more, yeah, try to turn it to 11 out of 10.
I will have to watch your lifting videos with sound because I saw them and they are like, and
Yeah.
I never heard it, but all of the girls asking questions are like, hey, well, Jen is like super great to be with when you're competing. It's like she pumps you up, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
wow. That's something that I must see in person in the future when we compete in a tournament together. That will happen.
Yes, sir. No problem. Well, that last video of like me yelling,
Yes.
there was a lot of F-bombs that came out. And so then I have to think about like my mom, my dad, and like my brother. And then I have to think about like my kids are gonna see that one day. And so that's where
They are not ready. They are not ready yet.
Yeah, and so that's where I just think, yeah, I just, even the other day on like the raw video, I turned it down. So then, and that's where Owen's like, "Wow, mama, you're really strong." And so that's where I'm like, "Yep," but it's getting there. I just hit a point that with that workout, I was either accept defeat or you're going to get motivated to lift that. And I chose option B, that you're going to get motivated to to lift that. So there we go.
Nice. The second question, it's from Amy Waddles.
Hey, all right.
She says, my secret burning question for her is, how does Jen find or maintain that intensity she trains and competes with? That girl is fierce. I whisper obscenities at the bar for my mental hype. I need some Jen lessons.
And that's where like she's been competing longer than I have, and I just little things. So first of all, like when I compete, and I don't care, I can let anybody in the world know this. I have my kids draw a picture, and either I might put it in my shoe or put it against my heart, like I put it in my sports bra. So
Okay.
that's one thing I don't mind. It's their little magic, and yeah, I guess I just want my workout to be measurable. That it's like we've
Yes.
done something, we've completed something, but you can't win them all. And so that's where sometimes I think you have to dial down your expectations a little bit. So sometimes like training can be a bit crap, but I think competing, it just comes from a whole new level, being there. And if Ricardo says that there's going to be 20,000 people watching us on stage, then I tell you what, that I think that might be my Super Bowl. It might be my Olympic kind of like hopeful dream that it's like I will definitely give a show. And I think I just really I am that extrovert. I just draw off other people. And it's like what people want to see to be memorable. And it's like I just dig down. But there are times that there's Powerade, there's rain drinks that to just kind of you got to keep hydrated and it's just when to dial in. Um, yeah, when you need to get those moments. I don't know. It's just you reach for it. Soul, it's like, okay, we're gonna give it all we got.
Excellent. So you live life with intensity always.
Absolutely.
Nice.
You have to be. Why are we here? Why are we here if we don't have that?
We are here to enjoy. Exactly.
Yes.
Now we move to, I mean, I was going to say we moved to Idaho, but Amy is from
Yes.
Idaho as well as Tammy.
Yes.
First
Yes.
question from Tammy. Tammy wants to know, what has been Jen's favorite grip competition and why?
Ooh. Favorite grip competition and why? Um, that's always a tough one, but I tell you what, Florida was really fun because then the three of us plus Jesse Shockley, we were all like sharing a little bit of a house and we went to the competition together, just hung out. Like that was really fun and we had dinner together, like all the grippers, like we had dinner. That was really cool. Sarah and I saw some alligators and
Oh,
Florida was a little bit special because I also met one of my friends from the master's program from 2009, just between planes, trains, automobiles, 14 years, like just talking back and forth, got to meet her as well. So I think that just, it's a little bit just that much more special in my heart. Just like I got to meet and hang out with a lot of cool people that trip. So again, just you got to do the things that are cool and meet the people that you love.
excellent. The next question from Tammy. Tammy made many questions.
I'm sure
I
she, I'm
told her
sure.
I told her bring them on like all the questions you want. So,
Yeah.
does Jen think about anything in particular before she goes for a big lift?
Um, oof. That's a hard one because I remember in Las Vegas I was thinking about like my kids for that big lift. I just want them to kind of be proud of me. The other thing is I just like I guess I'm gonna say like you're mine. Like I'm just gonna own that lift. Just
Good.
it has my name on it. Yeah, just try to be as strong as you can. Just really connect with your body with it. Think of your feet, your hands, hips. Just kind of think of yourself as, yeah, it's going to come up like a rocket, I guess.
This is a question for me that I was thinking about because maybe uh, it happens to me that when I do a sport, I always want to
Hmm.
compete in the sport. Is that the
Yeah.
same to you? Like you have to compete on in example, I do grip because I want to
Hmm.
compete. And I
Yeah.
wouldn't just do grip just for the sake of it if I don't if I'm not going to compete. What do you think about it? It's the same for you?
I totally agree. Because so I've always liked mini golf, like
Yes?
even growing up playing in mini golf. So in 2022, I competed in team mini golf with my friend Laura Guy and Precious Collins. So we've done this. So we have competed at a world mini grip competition, or sorry, mini golf
Yes?
competition. So we've done it. And that's the thing. We didn't come last. We all
Okay.
made holes in one. And that's the other thing. What's interesting about competing in a team is that your team member all of a sudden comes out with a goal on the day. All of us have to hit holes in one. That was Laura's goal. I said, okay. And I'm inwardly thinking inside, shit, I don't do holes in ones. And then like must have been hole 14 or something that like I hit a hole in one. So never say never. And I get it gets that it's that energy that you have to like almost believe somebody's energy sometimes
Yes.
that like you're going to do it. So I've done that. And the other thing is so or last where year am I in? Okay, last year, sorry.
Yes?
Last year I competed in sitting volleyball. So like
I
Paralympic.
saw your post.
Yeah,
I saw your post. It was super interesting. All sitting
yeah,
and there for
yeah,
volleyball.
yeah, for volleyball. So our corporate EDF is sponsoring the 2024 Paris Games. And
Okay.
so competing, and instead of, there's some people in England are like, ah, no, we'll show up on the day. And I'm like, no, I've played volleyball since I was 13. It's like, we're going to do some practices and really give a shit about this. You know what I'm saying? Because I just thought, I can't just go blah. Like, no, you need to have some practice. And we won our qualifiers. And then in May, we're going to go to Paris and compete with other EDF teams. So we'll see how that goes. But again, I have to dial it down because I know some people's um, I guess I would say their competition level is not the same as
Okay.
mine. So that's where as a team sport, like I have to kind of be that caring coach, kind of captain, all at the same time to just say it's like, okay, let's make sure that everybody's fair, gets a play. So, we'll see what happens, but I am excited and it was fun to do a team sport.
There's another question that came to my mind. Do you make your own routines for grip sport, or do you ever had a coach or someone who makes the programming for you? How do you manage that?
Um, so in 2020, arm lifting, I had Rob Blair help me with some programming and with some grip stuff. But at the moment, just again with kids, my routine, it's a little bit crazy. So it's like when I get out to the shed, I do. And especially when I had my thumb injury last year, it was just a lot of modification. And I have to do a little bit of modification now, but thank God, knock on wood, I am knocking on my table, it is wood, that between the physical therapy, a little bit of nutrition, I drink bovine colostrum.
Okay.
So, like, that's supposed to be really good for your immune system. So sometimes I put it in my tea and there are clumps. So I have to like really like stir the hell out of it to like really drink it. But it's
Yes.
been really good. And I mean, that's where my thumb has had impeccable process of just, it's a lot better than what it was a year ago. So this is where believe in your nutritionist, believe in your osteopaths, physical therapists, physios, whatever. Fucking listen to them. You're paying them good money. So sorry, this is I guess me having a rant about life. It's like you need to listen to these people. And if you're not getting the results that you need in a quick enough manner, change it, find some other people to get you on your way. Because this time last year, I thought I had a guy that knew his shit and he didn't know his shit. And so then I spoke to my nutritionist. He recommends somebody. Yeah, he's in London, but I mean, I paid for him and you only have one hand, you only have one life. That I just thought,
Yeah.
how can you put a price on your thumb? And it's your day-to-day stuff between being a mom and then working out, doing grip stuff that, not just doing barbell stuff like all the little gym bunnies do. It's weird shit that we do that it needs to happen. So yeah, you just sometimes you get what you pay for. And so I'm just really glad that I do have a good circle of people that know their craft.
Perfect.
Yeah.
This question is about designing a competition. Tammy wants to
Okay.
know if Jen could design her own competition with a limited budget, what would that look like? Location, events,
Ooh,
prices, anything random.
anything random. Interesting. We could talk about aura. So whether or not if we rented out the commando temple for the day, because that has a good place. Plus, we have a lot of fun tools there. We have the rocks. This is where I'm gonna have to try to get people that maybe one of these days we just need to do like a grip competition at the commando temple and just like rent it out to be like, guess what? We're just gonna have to sacrifice some people's gym memberships and compete there. Or guess what? We come to you. We come to you, Poncho. We come to Chile, go on a
If
beach
you if
somewhere.
you if you come to Chile with Sarah, I will
Yes,
organize a competition and I will have female athletes to get inspired by you guys. So
absolutely. And
count
Tammy, that's the
count on
thing. Yeah,
and Tammy must come as well. And well, if
absolutely.
you come, I will give you all the musts. There's so many places to go here in Chile, so you can count on me for that.
Excellent. Or
Definitely.
we go to Stonehenge. I still love Stonehenge rocks. My husband, who's English, he's like, "What's your fascination?" He was like, "Americans and Stonehenge." And I don't know. I guess me and my meathead brain of like, how the hell did those guys move those rocks? And of course, how the summer solstice and the winter solstice, it lines up perfectly every year. And who knows, maybe in my past life being a pagan, it's just really cool that you have some rocks that somehow align with the planets, the earth, stars, the moon. It's pretty cool in my opinion. So who knows?
I wouldn't be tired of Stonehenge if I were there either.
I I like it, and there's still like traffic jams that occur at Stonehenge, but I mean it's beautiful. It's a world-renowned place. It's unfortunate that they do. It costs a little bit of money in order to go there, but luckily, like my husband and I, we do have passes that we could go get to see that. But wow, some of the lifts. What could we do? I would mix in some Gods of Grip implements. I love their double vertical. It's nice. It's almost like handshaking a robot. It's really nice. It opens up your hand. So it's kind of more like this versus how just a vertical, you can more wrap your hand around it. But the double, I love that. It's so nice. I think that's where probably rock climbers get like totally obsessed with different things on the wall or a different path. That just the way that rock feels, and that's where that double pipe just it feels great in my hands. um yeah, I would say that maybe some strong man, strong woman events as well, like some hammer holds, some sledgehammer holds. That would be fun, you know. So the world's your oyster. Get some crushers. I always love a good crusher to play with, kind of homage to like one of my first competitions. So we could do that. Um, last summer at Gods of Grip, like the double vertical. That was fun to do that hold. That was nice. And again, in that competition, I think there was like some grunge rock music going on, and somehow like there's this lyric that loop like did this earworm in my head. It was like embrace the hate. And then that's where here I was in that competition screaming in that video. I was like, embrace the hate, because that's where like my thumb at the time, like it was still taped up. And I was like, come on, keep going, keep going. So sometimes at competitions, like my mouth kind of just becomes unfiltered and just says like some crazy one-liners. Like at an Iowa competition, I was like, "Who's the rodeo clown now?" I mean, totally random, but like just this mouth and brain. Sometimes that stuff just doesn't get sealed off, and just a whole bunch of party comes out of that mouth.
You were in the zone, definitely in the
Yes,
zone.
absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Excellent. This question from Tammy. It's
Okay.
really this is a good one.
Yep.
What is the most challenging part about being a mom and working athlete? And what is the most rewarding part?
think I complimented her on that with it might have been yours or Zach's, but man, I just think it's really on the good part of it, like being a mom, is that guess what? When you have that free time, that you actually use that free time wisely. And I think that's when you're juggling everything. So then, for example, at one workout, I think I sometimes I do boot camp on a Saturday. And instead of like having the time to rest, I will run because I'm like, hell no, this I don't have to worry about the kids. Like I can just run and really focus on what I'm there to do. So that's kind of the one thing about it is just making sure that if there's the time, you time to get your training in. Um, I'm glad that I've kept up with athletics. It's made me a stronger mom. Like that's the I think my my neighbor boy who runs a taxi, BMC's taxis, I'll give him that bit of credit out there. We went and picked up my kids after I got home from Sweden, and like I both gave my boys a hug and like stood up with them. So I guess just making sure that I'm strong enough there for my kids, and yeah, just show them it's a pretty good feeling to be strong. And he even Owen says it like, look at my big muscles, like when he holds his big box of Legos. So, and the other thing is helping my husband out. He does lawnmower racing. So sometimes he has some massive like bits of metal that I need to hold for him. So it's a good relationship. Graham can fabricate some stuff and he just needs a strong woman to kind of hold some metal bits and pieces for some of his lawnmower stuff. So yeah, but yeah, again, my kids, they're healthy, they're great, they're strong. Joey, look out. I'm saying it, Joey Tibbenham, maybe like a grip competition, I don't know, 2035, maybe he might do some crazy shit for King Kong. So we'll see. Joey has a painful grip like some of his stuff, so yeah, we'll see what my youngest son does.
And have they competed in like the youth division of King Kong ever?
Not yet. I just think just I don't know if it's a different time yet or just my kids kind of just have round bottoms. They can't sit very long yet. Like
Too much energy.
too much energy. But I'll tell you what, Owen came and when I ran a Gods of Grip league, he
Okay.
was there like, you know, cheering me on, cheering some of the guys on. So I think he's getting it there. It's just, of
Yeah.
course, I don't want to force him yet. Just like one term he wanted to do soccer and now he doesn't want to do it. So I'm just giving him the choice and I don't want to push pressure him.
I want to become a father in the future, so I'd love to be just like what you said, just like that. The like if you choose, it's okay. If you don't want
Mm-hmm.
to do the crazy grip stuff, it's okay too.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Like the other thing is, Owen does an artistic class, and it's more like theater, singing, dance, and I love it because it's different between what Graham and I do, and I'm proud of him because it's illustrating the same stuff that we do in grip. The show must go on. You have to practice and you still have the teamwork if you want to whether it be solo, but I'm proud of it. Like I'm proud of his choices and what he's doing now because he's been on stage at the age of 3 and totally blew it out of the park. But either way, I'm proud, and that's where he's still getting that in there, and he's with an enthusiastic like instructor. So that's all I want, and that's what hopefully I think what you're trying to do as well, Poncho, is like for grip, you just want enthusiastic people to like catch on fire and hopefully spread grip throughout Chile's, South America, South America. So
yes,
why not?
exactly. Another from Tammy. If Jen had one song choice for performing karaoke on the Arnold stage, what would that be?
Born to be wild. Ah, like that's my song that I sing. I've done karaoke in Mexico, England, the United States. It's just my comfort song. So hell yeah, I know it. Bam. And I think it's true to me that yeah, Born to be Wild.
Nice song. Another from Tammy. why should more females get into group sport? And is there anything unique that lady grippers have to offer to the group community? To the group community, sorry.
Absolutely. Like more gals need to get involved. I just think because it's a positive atmosphere already. Um, what I've heard from strong women, it sounds like it's been catty. That's what I've heard. But I mean, fuck, prove me wrong. Sorry, I just dropped an F-bomb. Didn't mean to.
No,
Um,
no problem. This is an adult's show. No problem.
yeah. um, you know, with little hands, I think, for example, like some of the coin lifts,
Yes.
are there some of the finish, like the pocket knife? I think there's a lot of different things, or like what God's a Grip offer is, they call it the Ridge. I think there's a lot of things to still offer. Um, it's just good to do something different. And I think it gives people something to focus on, whether that be a weight, that number, to say, oh, I'm going to do this. That's the thing, math or maths in English. It's just not my, sometimes numbers, you can get too fanatical about them. And I just think just beat your PR. That's what matters. But just with the females, I just think that it's that time, as we were talking and texting about, there's strength sports, it needs to be done. And I think now with also with medical science, they're saying grip is a longevity indicator. So it's not only just about, you know, the physicality, it's also about your bone density. So there's a lot of good research out there that it's just grip sport depends on your health and longevity. So it's just something else to do.
Plus, it's super fun. Super, super
Yes,
fun with friends.
absolutely, definitely.
And the final question from Tammy. Here's a would you rather question. Would you rather
Okay.
be a superstar on WWE or American Gladiators?
Oh, you want to know what? I would probably say like WWE because of the international following. And then have you seen the Netflix documentary on American Gladiators?
Not yet. Do you recommend it?
Okay.
Because
I,
I
I
have
do
Netflix
recommend it.
right here. Yeah.
Okay, I do recommend it. Like poor Dan Nitro Clark was saying about how like they were the original ones and they didn't get enough like medical care coverage, and especially in the United States, that's a huge
Ooh.
factor. A lot of their medical bills, the rights. So when they had the action figures in the 90s, they did not see one red cent of that.
Uh,
So I feel like, but again, my interpretation from
yes.
that documentary from the American Gladiators, it seems to be that like WCW or WWF, WWE, that it seems like they took care of their people a little bit better.
Okay.
So that's where I'm just thinking of your longevity of your health, of, being a wrestler, or again, your medical bills being taken care of.
Perfect.
So that's
Now,
my point of it.
now let's travel to, correct me if I'm wrong, Wyoming with
Yes,
Sarah.
Wyoming. Yep, Sarah.
Yes. Sarah wants to know, you have been gripping for a long time. How do you keep it fun and interesting?
Well, you keep on doing competitions. And then I think traveling, um, again, I think it's that commonality of the same friends that you can come and hang out with, talk about, you know, so like Laura and Lorna, they've been from like my strong woman, like UK days, and we just we're still lifting, we're still doing something, and it's just good to have a laugh with. So that's where I think just go for it. It's the different competitions, like again, going to Sweden, doing that rock, the rock medley, something different, but why not keep you out of trouble?
Perfect.
Yep.
The second from Sarah. If you could travel anywhere in the world for a grip contest, where could you go?
I love Japan, like seeing some of the photos, and especially it's again, I guess totally different from Western values, more helping each other, greater good. I would really love to see something like that in Japan, and then I'd really want to go see a sumo wrestling competition. But
Do you
I'm up for
follow?
traveling.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Do
Go
you
ahead.
follow the guy named Akugeki? He is from Japan and he's developing grip in Japan.
Oh, is he really? No, like you'll have to send me his details. I'll happily, that would be fun to do.
I
Um,
will.
yeah, there's another girl that I met on holiday. So another strong woman friend, she had her wedding out in Cyprus, and I met another power lifter who's from Israel, and that's where
Nice.
maybe one of these days, like do a competition out there. We'll see, but I'm like you, just want to bring the word of grip.
And to
So
travel, and to travel.
yeah,
Travel is
to
wonderful.
travel. Travel is wonderful. My grandma said, God rest her soul, that travel is an education, and I'm like you, that just the older I get, just want to hang out with people that are enthusiastic, and just have a good time with grip and whatnot. So yeah, that's where like Bruno, I was like, God, he's like me. He's traveled thousands of miles. So I was like, hell yeah, just also fuerte. And I mean that's where he was like, holy shit, someone's out there like speaking Spanish and yelling at me. So that was good. So I think we bonded over that I was like, yeah, buddy.
Nice.
Yeah.
The third from Sarah. If you could choose the four events for King Kong, which four events would you pick?
Ooh, four events. I tell you what, looking off of Nemesis Grip's website, that chimera, that rolling thing, that looks pretty cool. So
Yes.
I like the roller stuff. Like to me, that's really fun. So that chimera, the double roller, like the rolling thumber, that might be fun. Trying to think what else that would be super fun. Again, the double pipe, so very vertical. That would be from Gods of Grip, and the square bar too. Like, and that's the thing. Nemesis came out with like a 2 inch like square bar, and I love it. Like I have a 1 inch from Gods of Grip, but that 2 inch, I'm like, damn, that just that makes it that much harder. Love it. Muy difícil. Really hard.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yes.
And
So very
Jen,
vertical bar heavy. Very vertical bar heavy. So yeah.
so between pinch, rolling handles, keep pinch, and vertical, vertical is your favorite, right?
Oh hell yes. Like pinch, that's definitely like my sacrificial lamb event. Like that's just not there for me. Um
Okay.
I definitely like the like I said, the crushers, like that's cool. Some of the handles. I mean, hey, we could get like a 4 inch dumbbell in there, something that could be fun. Or a blob. Let's get a blob.
A blob
Yeah.
with seasoning, please.
Yes, a blob with seasoning. Absolutely. Yeah.
And the last question from Sarah. Thank you for. I think you will have to explain this to me because I don't get it like 100%. But thank you for
Hmm.
introducing me to Haribo's Drops. Why are they the perfect competition snack? I have never tried them. So what do they, how are they like?
So that's the thing. If we talk about this, it came because I said about like Straubs, and I brought them to Florida, and I sent them to my friends' children. I like them. They have a little bit of elder. They even say it's like good for vegans as well. So there's a little bit of like elderberry juice in them. It's just like a nice chewy candy that isn't gonna like rip your fillings off your teeth. It's a nice,
Okay.
soft, chewy, gummy candy that doesn't just seem like it's straight sugar. There's like a different type of sugar. It's more fructose like fruit stuff. But again, we use those a lot in Sweden because it was a long day, and I was like Straubs, like, and that was the other thing, even during the worlds, I was like Straubs. So we were sharing They're shortened for like giant strawberries, but that's what they're called as straws. But Haribo. So, yep. Thank you to the Haribo company that it's has this little spin with some of my grip memories now.
Perfect.
Yep.
Jen, do you happen to have any question for me, like, or for the about the project? Anything you want before we wrap up?
I wish you all the best. Let me know if there's any gear, or that's the other thing we could is save on shipping. You can send it to my mom's house or something instead of all the way to England, and so I don't have to pay import duty. So I'm happily, yeah, send them away, and we could, yeah, put the Gripsport Latino banner on the channel, spread the word, spread the grip word, la palabra, you
Yes.
know. So how do
The
we say grip in Spanish?
agarre.
Harare.
Es como agarre. Agarre.
Harare.
It's complicated, yeah. But
Yeah, yeah.
here in Chile, at least, I always say that to the friends of grip in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Here in Chile, we want to be like the United States. 100%. Look at me doing grip sport. We want to be like the United States. So people here talk about grip. Hey, grip, grip, grip in
Mm-hmm.
Spanish, and they're like taking the concept. So no one talks about agarre. It's longer,
Mm-hmm.
too much
Yeah.
R's.
Okay.
So grip is easier.
Awesome. Okay. Right on. Just want to
And
know.
this year, if I don't go to the UK, I want to go to the US. So I got you covered with some grips for Latino equipment. 100%.
Excellent. Excellent. No, I love it. And that's the thing. Just keep the word going, be enthusiastic, and yeah, that's where hopefully either someone can give you some blobs at some point at a cheaper, who knows. That's yeah, I just hope that, and I'm really glad, congratulations for your King Kong, site. So that'll be really good. But absolutely, I'm willing to travel, come to see you. So we'll see how that goes.
I will come back to you to ask you for like details because this is my first year hosting events. So I will
Mm-hmm.
need some advice to organize, to run it smoothly, to have good drinks, good meals, because I want people to have like a great experience with grip. And
Absolutely.
and this is because I don't know if you know Alex Guia, Fits of Alex on Instagram from New York.
Mm-mm. No, no, no.
Well,
Uh-uh.
Alex is more into bending, but I went to New York last year. Sorry,
Okay.
2020, 2022. And I proposed to my wife in New York. So after I
Oh,
proposed to
wow.
my wife, after I
Mm-hmm.
proposed to her, I went to Alex's house because he had a grip contest. And it was my
Okay.
first experience. And
Uh-huh.
he had coffee, bagels, pizza, brownies. He was like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
"Would you like to? Do you need to spend the night? We have a
Oh,
spare room."
wow.
And he was like super generous, and all the guys that were there were
Mm-hmm.
like if they knew me forever. I mean, strictly speaking, I have been chatting on Instagram with them for years, but
Mm-hmm.
meeting them in person was like, damn, I want to do the same for grip in
Yes.
Chile. Like do the
Awesome.
same like miracles that I witnessed. It was like wonderful. And I come from
Nice.
sports that are not so friendly. In example, this is my opinion, but here in
Yeah.
Chile, powerlifting can be nasty and not
Mm.
so welcoming. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if I am going to spread the word, it's going to be welcoming and it's going to be positive. So that's my mission, one of
Absolutely.
my missions with Gripsport.
Absolutely. No, I love that. And that's how it should be. Like, that's the thing. And I kind of got Lorna Patton to come to this one of the King Kongs because I said, Lorna, if the Commando Temple doesn't get a certain amount of people, they're going to cancel the competition. And she was like,
Oh,
okay, I'll do this. And that's the thing. Like, we need to have people like come and compete because some of these niche sports will die out. And so that's where she was like, no, I'll come and do this. Or I even asked, and that's the thing, because now I've been running King Kong, and
Yeah.
it is difficult because it's just either you have the competition fee, and then depending on with logistics, if you are able to grab some of the implements, because
Yes.
that's the thing, you do eat up a lot of that cost. And a lot of that
Yes.
times it's not guaranteed to make it back. So I get it from their point of view that commercially, like sometimes grip sports events don't make that much in your return, especially when you have a gym to run and try to make money on it. So
Yes.
I totally understand that. I totally do. But that's where it's just find stuff used, or like what you're doing of fabricating some of your implements that, yeah, no, amazing. That's I just wish you all the best. And are you gonna like start your own gym or rent out like a unit?
I'd love to start my own gym, but I am going like step by step because actually this podcast came up with like we were speaking with a friend from Italy, Tiziano
Okay.
Vecchio. I don't know if you have heard of him.
Yes, I have heard that name.
Well, he called me on WhatsApp. I just reminded
Awesome.
when you were chatting with your husband like for hours.
Hmm.
We were
Yeah,
speaking
yeah.
on WhatsApp for hours. Then, hey, why don't we
Yeah.
have a video call? And
Oh,
he
cool.
and it was like 2 hours. And then
Hmm.
I told him like joking, why don't we
Hmm.
do a live stream and we speak about rape and stuff? Because this guy speaks Spanish and super fluently.
Awesome.
And I was like, let's do it. And once we
Hmm.
did it, people wrote to me, hey, I love your podcast. And I was like, I didn't knew that I had a podcast, but thank you. And then you should invite this guy and this other guy
Mm,
and this guy. And then it started. And then I thought I should have a logo. I should do
yeah.
gatherings. I should buy more implements, and here we are. So a gym would be really good. Plus, grip is not the only thing that you can do in a gym. You can do powerlifting, bodybuilding, climbing.
Hmm.
I don't know, whatever. So and I love physical culture. So yeah, I hope to have like a gym in the future, and to keep spreading the word of grip.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you need to have a t-shirt like grip la palabra, and then just I don't know, you need to have like a grip implement somewhere on a t-shirt. Hell yeah, I'd even buy that shirt.
Perfect.
Yes.
Uh, Jen, last words belong to you. Which message would you like to share to finish with this lovely interview, especially a message for the female athletes? I always remember that Tammy, when I first spoke to her, I asked her, well, I have my podcast. Have you seen it? And after she saw the chapters,
Mhm.
I asked her, what would you like to see in the podcast? And she told me, more females, more
Absolutely.
females.
I
So
I totally agree with that. Um, Oh, how do we do that? And that's where it's just getting more people, and it's having taster sessions. And that's where I tell people, and I'm even trying to grab people from work, that I'm just like, we're not going against each other because there's different weight classes. And I just said, I've done this so many times that like I'm there to build you up, not to compete, play mind games. I think maybe that's where people are just getting sick and tired of being burnt by other people. So I think that's where we need to be nice in this day and age with all that's going around in the world. Like there just needs to be you got to be nice. There's a lot of bad vibes, negativity that we need to be that generation to be better and more welcoming, and we shouldn't have be isolationists. We shouldn't separate or segregate, and that's where just be open minded with other people. So I just think if this is our way to get that positive message out, then why not? Just something to do. But no, I told people it's like I'm not gonna be there to just be like, ooh, bury you. It's like I'm competing against people that are across, especially with Gods of Grip stuff within the UK and King Kong across the world, especially Maria from Finland, she always has some good numbers. So that's where it's like, I'm not just going to be competing against you and saying, oh, yeah, I'm great against you. I'm competing against myself and more the elite level. I think, and that's hard. That's what is good about King Kong and what it's like hard is that there's like that another mental game tactic. It's not just about you, it's about the other people across the world and what better number you can get. So that's what's really good about it. It's a whole nother mind competition. It's the psychology of it. But do grip sport because it's great, it's challenging, and you only have one life to live out there. And I would say do it doing the stuff that you love to do, not just the mundane shit. And I think spend that time with people you want to be around with positive. So that's where I seem to still be globe trekking with Sarah, with Tammy. So I'm happy with that. Just especially me in the UK, I have to deal with some time zone differences, but I just drink a lot of water, have some coffee. I sometimes probably highly caffeinated than a lot of folks on the planet, but just your health is wealth, movement is medicine. So whether that's walking, dancing, just yes, please get up off your ass, just move. And if grip sport makes you move, then yes, it's worth it. But no, and I think just be a positive influence. And of course, I have my kids to look out for and make sure that they're positive. And sometimes you have to be selfish. I'm so glad I'm competing because that's kind of my time. And that's where I do stuff with my kids. Like we went to the Tank Museum during Christmas, that was their time. But sometimes when I go and compete, that's my time because I know if I brought my kids along, it's not going to be fun for them. So that's where I kind of treat like my competitions, that's my business with a little bit of pleasure. That's the way that I want to spend my holiday and my vacation times. So, yeah, but I just think movement is medicine and just stay with people that make you happy. So, and that's where I'm really glad that I have like Sarah, Tammy, and Amy is going to come join us. So there's a little bit of like a Pacific Northwest crew that we're going to hang out and compete. So that'll be great. But yeah, just stay positive and do what you like to do. And lastly, hell yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Excellent, Jen. Well, thanks for your time. Thanks for the opportunity. I wanted to interview you like from a couple of months until now.
Yeah.
So thanks for your patience because I was a little like delayed on our time. So
No worries.
that's
No,
it.
that's where
And
I get it. I get it. Just, yeah, that's totally cool. That's fine. But no, it's a pleasure to meet you and fantastic job. You're doing great. So I hope you can balance it all. And that's what I think if you're involved, you just have to manage your time wisely. And that's what I have to do with my competitions and just kind of tell people. I know, especially with King Kong, limited amount of people do it in the United Kingdom. And so then there's certain times certain people bug me and I have to tell them that I just say, look, it's not my focus right now, that I'm just like, I'm going to deal with that in a few weeks. So just with the whole balance family, your wife and all that, that's where you just kind of have to set boundaries and borders and just tell people it's not my focus right now. I will get back to you in a few weeks when it suits me because that's me at the moment of like my kids. And then when your kids go to school, then there's stuff with their school stuff you got to worry about that and your own work life stuff. Cause I'm working full time that you just have to realize that your time is a currency.
exactly.
So absolutely. No, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a pleasure. Me gusta.
Excellent.
Yes.
Nice. So I will
No.
stop the recording right now
Okay.
and see you guys in the next episode. Ciao, ciao.